Welcome back again. I'm Chris Richter. We're going to look at another part of Moodle that was a question somebody actually asked me about, which is how do I add to the footer in the Moodle LMS? Now we're looking at the default Boost theme, so it's different depending on which theme you're in. We're going to look at it in Moodle 4.0 using the Boost theme. So it's very specific to that particular theme. Before we do that though, make sure you check out the courses below. There's courses on Moodle for trainers, for teachers, for course creators, and also for developers. There's just a couple little developer courses there that teach you a few things about plugins, etc. Check that all out. But let's have a look at how we add to the footer and how we can make that more presentable in Moodle 4.0. It was a little bit of a nightmare, let me tell you. So the first question is, where is the footer in Moodle 4.0? If we scroll down and have a look, you'll see that there isn't really a footer along there. That's obvious, but there is a little question mark over here. And that question mark, if you click on it, actually gives you the footer information. So in here it has services, support, contact, who you're logged in as, powered by Moodle. And I've put in the words some more content in here. I'll show you where that comes into it in just a moment. First of all, how do I add some content to that footer or to that area? And then alternatively, because it annoys me that it's in a box you have to click on, because it should really be, well, I think it should be down the bottom ready for you to display there on every page without you having to click on it. I know they're trying to make it look better by removing stuff, but in this case, this one's something that I think is probably relevant and useful to be there all the time. So let's go to Site Administration, go to Appearances, and there's an area there that says Additional HTML. And if we click on Additional HTML and we scroll down, you'll see there it says Before Body is Closed. And I've put in there some more content inside paragraph tags because it says here that this is actually HTML. It's a HTML footer. So if I want any HTML in there, I can put that in. What does this actually look like, or how can we make use of that? So for example, if I wanted this to be a link that went to my website, I could put in there ricochae.com.au. I could put in a href equals, put in there https://ricochae.com.au, target equals blank, because we want to open a new page, a new tab, /A, save those changes. What does that actually do, that little bit of a change? Well, if we click on our little question mark down here, you'll see it now has ricochae.com.au in there with a web link. If I click on it, it opens up my website. Perfect. That's how you can put content inside that footer. But what if you wanted that footer to appear along the bottom instead? There is a way to do it. It's a little bit crazy, but it does work. So to do that, again, you need to be an administrator to do this anyway. But if you go into Appearances, scroll down to the Boost theme, because that's the theme we're using. There's an area called Advanced Settings. Inside Advanced Settings, there is a section called Raw CSS. And we're going to put some CSS in here that will move that content that's in there, or display that content that's there, down the bottom. Let's grab that bit of CSS. So the CSS is page footer content popover dot container display flex important. So at the moment, if I right click and inspect, this little area down here has an area called footer content popover container. And inside that is where these sections live that are being displayed. So all I'm doing is telling it, instead of being display none, which we've got just here, I'm telling it to display flex and putting important after it, because that way it overrides if this display is trying to override or comes in after this CSS, which it shouldn't. This one will override it. So I'm just going to go save and just save changes. We'll get rid of that to make a bit of room. Now notice nothing appeared straight away. Just refresh that again. The reason for that is that it gets cached, and depending on your Moodle server and how it's set up, it may cache that footer, all those changes to the CSS, and you may need to refresh it a few times, or you can wait a while and come back, or you can actually turn the caching off, but we won't go through that process yet. That's a whole nother video. But you can see now along the bottom here, I have services and support, contact site support. You are logged in as ricochae.com.au as the link put in, and powered by Moodle version 4.0 build. that's all now in the footer. If I click on the question mark, it's still in there as well. So that's okay, but you now have it visible down the bottom. Now something you may want to do is spread that out so it stretches right across the whole panel instead. So another little bit of CSS, let's jump in and do that. Advanced settings, go in here to our SCSS and let's add a little bit of extra code. So this one is to do with the footer sections. Page footer, footer section, we're going to set them at 100%, which is each of these little cells will become 100%, so they'll just stretch out as far as they can. Save changes. Again, it may not appear straight away, so we'll just refresh. And now you can see it's stretched right across as far as it goes. At the moment anyway, as far as it goes. You may also want to add a background to that. So let's have a look at how we do that. And we're talking about a background color here. So this is the footer content popover container. So I'm just going to go in here and add background color :hash EF, just so you can see what that looks like. Save changes. So just putting a light gray background in behind it. There you go. So now we've got a nice light background. We may also want to reduce the font size because it is a footer. So we can go back into advanced settings, scroll down here and go font size : small, semicolon, save our changes, refresh that, and you can see it's shrunk down a bit more. I might even go smaller than that. Let's go back in and go extra small, x-small, save changes, refresh, and now you can see our footer has shrunk down quite a bit. It's sort of out of the way. Hopefully you found that useful. That is a very simplified way of being able to modify that and put the footer back in the footer, just for now at least. There are settings to change some of these options, like the service and support, contact site support, which goes to a page for you. You can turn those things off, or some of those things off. And it gets a little bit complex, but if you're interested in how to remove the powered by and all of that side, if you like, and just keep the center part, stretch that at full width, it's possible to do that as well, or using a little bit of CSS. So have a play, see how you go with it. I'm Chris Richter. I hope you found that useful. Talk to you again soon, but don't forget to check out the courses in the description. And if you are a Moodle admin, which this video is more specific to, please check out the top 10 Moodle admin tasks. There's a document there that has a whole heap of things in it that's really useful to you. I'll talk to you again soon.